Okay, so I want to take you guys on a little tour of the garden here. Um, we have our pear trees here. There's one here, one there. Planted these, they were 2 years old. I planted them last year, so this is their third year. Hopefully next year they'll fruit for us. We'll see what happens. Got a couple little baby blueberry bushes over here coming in. See what happens with them. They're a little close to my neighbor's fence, so I'm not sure if the weeds that he lets grow up are going to creep too far or what. These are my potatoes here. I've got these in smart pots. The theory is that you just hill them up inside the pots, and then when they're ready to harvest, you just dump them out. No digging. So I'm digging that. Got two different varieties there. The German Butterball and the All Blue. So we'll see how those turn out. It's my little Meyer lemon tree. I'm thinking I may have let that fruit a little too early. I probably should have plucked those lemons off that you see growing on there because it's staying pretty small. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Let's go along the perimeter here. Here's my sweet potatoes. Same kind of thing. I put those in containers. These are just as little Rubbermaid containers. I drilled holes in the bottom, filled them with compost. And I've got 3 slips in each container. So they're definitely starting to sprawl. Looking real good. We'll see in the fall how they look. Hopefully get some good old Beauregard sweet potatoes. Apple trees, you can see there. This is a Gala apple. And this one here is a Honeycrisp, which has scab. I need to spray. And I just noticed a little family of Japanese beetles on that leaf. So I definitely need to do something about that. Up here we have berries. 2 varieties of red raspberries, 2 varieties of blackberries. We have the blackberry chesters, which actually have some berries on them. You guys can see them there. This is the first year for them. And then Navajo, which has 1 little berry on it. And the raspberries they're just chilling in year 1 here. And here's my girls. Yeah, they think I have treats for them. I have 4 golden comets. And they are just so much fun. We have so much fun with them. The kids have a lot of fun. They're my little compost machine. I'll get a view of their run here from behind, or from a little bit farther away, but I got this idea from Texas Prepper. This is actually an adaptation of his greenhouse design. And I just attached it to my little tractor that I had for him. And if you're in the DC area, there's a company called Rent-A-Coop, and they rent coops and sell coops and chickens. And Tyler over there really hooked us up. This is the little tractor that they build, and you can rent this with 2 chickens or buy it. We just bought one. And so the unit came self-contained like this, and we when I built this run for them, I just opened up that end so they could have easy access to it. So that's a little bit of a farther view for them. I have that tarp on there just to kind of keep things a little dry in there for them, give them a little bit of shade in this heat. But they love it, and we still let them out to run around the yard. But this gives them plenty of space throughout the day. As you can see, I ran hardware cloth around the cattle panels, and I ran a perimeter of hardware cloth about a foot out from the base, just so, and then put wood chips on top of that, just so that digging predators couldn't still get into the run there. Raccoons and foxes, whatnot. I'm not sure what all digs or not, but I didn't want to lose any chickens to predators, so I think this is pretty much predator proof. We'll find out. They've been in here for a few months. So far, so good. My kids have them named, of course. Alright, so let's go in here to the garden. Take a look at everything else we've got. This is a kaffir lime tree. Those of you who are familiar with Thai cooking know what a kaffir lime is. You actually don't use the limes, you use the leaves and for cooking, and they are delicious, extremely aromatic. I've got my adaptation of a Three Sisters garden going up here. Got corn on the sides, beans coming up the corn, and instead of a circle, which is traditionally what a Three Sisters garden should be, just got them in rows, just because that's how my irrigation systems run. And then my squash, and I've got some melons in there too, in the middle. So this is my first year trying that. Got 3 different varieties of tomatoes here. On the left here you've got beefsteak. In the middle is Eva's Purple Ball from Monticello. And also from Monticello over here is the yellow pear. Really cool. We have a connection there at the gardens at Monticello, and we're able to get some seeds from there. Cucumbers. Experimenting this year, trying to let my cucumbers grow up inside tomato cages, just to keep them off the ground. We'll see how that works. Long neck squash, which is great. This has been one of my most favorite plants to look at in the morning. Just how the flowers open up in the morning, and, close up in the afternoon, and got several squash coming in. Just a fascinating plant. Excited about that. These are the other ladies of the garden. So our honeybees. This is the first year hive. Doing really well. Trying to debate. Both of these boxes are full. The bottom box is full of brood. The top box is full of some capped honey and a lot of pollen. The frames are all drawn, and everything I've read, or most of the things I've read, has said don't put a honey super on the first year of a hive. But everything I can tell says that this hive's ready for a honey super, and it's the end of June. So I'm not sure. I might go ahead and put it on. I definitely don't want to. I don't want to distract the bees from what they need to do to build up a strong hive for themselves to overwinter in. But I think they're ready. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet. Then I've got 2 rows here. Got some broccoli coming up and kohlrabi. I've got a little a prickly seeded spinach plant there that I let go to seed. Some more tomatoes, peppers, also from Monticello, more broccoli, beans, which I had bean beetles getting into my beans, which was really frustrating, but I think I've gotten them under control now just by hand picking them. I have to be careful what I spray. First of all, because I want to be organic. Second, because I don't want to hurt the bees. And then my peas, I definitely messed them up this year. I thought I would try to let them grow up these bamboo stakes, but they won't do it. So they're laying down, but they're still producing. They don't look as nice as they would have had I trellised them correctly, but they're doing well, producing very tasty peas. And then over here is a first year asparagus bed. Planted 2 rows of crowns. For some reason, only 1 row came up. I treated them both the same way, but you can see the little shoots coming up there making their ferns. Some of them look better than others, but each plant came up in that first row. And in the second row, 1 crown produced 1 spear, and then another crown produced 1 spear. And everything else is empty. I don't know what happened. I had some lettuce here, which has since bolted. You can see my carrots. Beets are looking good. It's one of the things I'm most excited about this year. Looking forward to harvesting some beets, pickling some beets. The lacinato kale, which I haven't been harvesting much. I was going to try to let some of these go to seed, but it doesn't seem like they want to. But the beetles and the slugs and whatever else are having their way with them. But we got a ton of harvests off of this. You just pick or cut off the outer leaves and just keep on coming. And then onions. We got some yellow onions, some red onions, some onions that I planted from sets, and then onions that I planted from seed. So we should have some good harvests over the next few weeks. And one of them went to seed here, you can see. It's starting to anyway. And a 3-bin compost system, which, as you can see, I don't really use because I have the chickens. So I'm not sure I'm going to keep this compost bin because it's taking up valuable space in the garden. And again, my neighbors are kind of letting their weeds grow over, which is fine. And then a rhubarb plant, which I'm the only one in my family that likes. So we started just 1 plant. And then this is my my quiet spot. I love coming down here, especially in the morning. You can see just even in the last few minutes, these squash flowers have started to close up. It's starting to get a little too hot for them. They've let the bees have their way. But that's my spot. Come down here and just spend some time with God and just watch how He orchestrated things, how His creation behaves. It's just so cool to watch. He definitely has a plan. When you plant a garden, you can see that. Really cool. I forgot to tell you about my peach tree. This is actually one of my favorite things. So peach tree, again, this was a 2-year-old tree as well. Had tons of flowers, tons of little peaches, and they all fell off. So I think it's just not ready. Hopefully next year. But as you can tell, we're trying the Back to Eden method. Saw that film and really loved what Paul had to say, and the method that he's chosen to grow his garden. Really love that. Makes a lot of sense. So we're trying that. I guess you can see I've got this whole area filled up with wood chips that came from my neighbor's yard. Came from my neighbor's tree. He had a tree service come out and chip everything up, and I just had them put it over here for me. I spread them out. But a lot of people will tell you that you can't get plants to grow in wood chips until they've rested for a year or 6 months, and so this kind of proves that that's not true. Everything over here is growing up through the wood chips. So the wood chips are just a mulch. I pulled the wood chips back and planted in the dirt, and I'm just using the wood chips as a mulch. But a lot of people told me I couldn't even do that. And everything's growing fine. Over here on this side, these rows that I had over here, I left the wood chips back just so that it's exposed dirt. And everything's doing great over here too. But I would venture to say, particularly if you look at these tomatoes, they're all planted at the same time. These tomatoes are about halfway up the stake. And these tomatoes over here are growing all the way up. Some of them are about halfway up. But I would venture to say that they're at least growing the same, if not better, over here in the wood chips. You can see one of my bees collecting pollen over here. So the bees are wonderful for the garden. Anyway, just wanted to show you guys our garden. We're really proud of it. We're really excited. We're super excited for these fruit trees to start to produce. Just excited to see kind of what God does through creation. People ask me all the time, are you prepping? Are you a doomsday prepper? And I always kind of laugh. I'm not a doomsday prepper. I guess I'm prepping in the sense that my parents and grandparents did as well. When people, my grandfather was born in 1897, and when people used to ask him how he made it through the Depression, he was a farmer, how he made it through the Depression, he would always answer, "What Depression?" He grew his own food, and he had prepared and preserved food, and they were just as poor before the Depression as they were after the Depression and during the Depression. But they had food for their family, and good food. And so today, I guess you can say I'm prepping, but really I'm just trying to, I guess, to induce quality control on the food that my family eats. Certainly there's not enough food in this garden to feed my family for a year, but it's a start, and it's certainly better, even if it's just 20 meals for them, it's certainly better than what those 20 meals would have been, with GMO foods and McDonald's and whatever other junk there is out there. So I guess I'm prepping, but I'm prepping not because I'm afraid the end of the world is coming or some cataclysmic disaster is headed our way and the United States economic collapse or something like that. Of course, any of those things are possible, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this just because I love to watch the garden grow. I love to eat fresh food. I love to hang out with my kids out here, and I just love to see. You can hear a bee flying around the camera. I just love to see how God works His magic through His creation. So, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day and start gardening.